Venus is depicted in Greco-Roman myths as being in love with Adonis. The mythological figure of Tammuz, a Mesopotamian god associated with fertility and vegetation and the cycle of life and death, has certain similarities with Adonis. Adonis being an adoption of Tammuz by the Greeks and Phoenicians. For the role of Adonis can be seen as an example of cultural influence and assimilation of mythological concepts, both connected to vegetation and seasons. Tammuz is often depicted as the dying and resurrecting god, whose death in the winter leads to the withering of vegetation, while his return in the spring brings renewal and fertility. Adonis, similarly, is associated with the cycle of nature and is known for his beauty. His death and subsequent rebirth are tied to the seasons, his absence during the winter symbolizing barrenness of the earth, and his return in the spring signifying the renewal of life in nature. When Adonis dies in a hunting accident, Venus weeps over him, and her tears cause flowers to grow. Mourning and lamentation. Both Tammuz and Adonis are mourned by their respective goddesses, Venus and Ishtar. In Mesopotamian mythology, Ishtar mourns the death of Tammuz, descending into the underworld to rescue him, but in Greek mythology, Aphrodite mourns the death of Adonis and is depicted in a state of grief. The mourning of these goddesses is linked to the sadness and loss associated with the absence of their loved ones and the impact it has on the natural world. The book of Ezekiel shows how central and widespread this weeping over the dead god was. Ezekiel 8:14 says, "And then he brought me to the entrance of the north gate of the house of the Lord, and I saw women sitting there, weeping for Tammuz." Tammuz and Adonis are often depicted as youthful and beautiful figures. Their beauty is celebrated and contributes to their status as objects of desire. Their association with youthful and vitality and attractiveness connects them to themes of love. The similarities in their attributes and roles may have resonated with the Greeks, leading to the assimilation of Tammuz into their pantheon under the guise of Adonis. Bacchus, who's also known as Dionysus, is a deity from Greek mythology associated with the wine, agriculture, growing vines, death, fertility, ecstasy, and the arts. He is the prince and son of Zeus, the king of the gods. Tammuz, on the other hand, is a god from Mesopotamia associated with fertility, vegetation, cycle of life and death, also a prince and the shepherd god. Both Bacchus and Tammuz are associated with fertility and the abundance of nature. Bacchus is depicted with vines and grapes, symbolizing the growth and abundance of vineyards. Tammuz is also associated with vegetation and the cycle of fertility, where his death leads to the withering of plants and rebirth, the regrowing of plants. Bacchus and Tammuz both have aspects of dying and returning to life. Bacchus has a myth called the Bacchae, where he is torn apart by titans, but is resurrected and achieves divine immortality. As mentioned earlier, Tammuz also has his own descent in return from the underworld. Both Bacchus and Tammuz are associated with ecstatic and celebratory rituals. Bacchus is known for his association with revelry, wine, an ecstatic state of his followers, known as the Bacchic frenzy or Dionysian rites. Tammuz is honored through rituals involving mourning and ecstatic celebrations in the ancient Mesopotamian festivals. These similarities between Bacchus and Tammuz reflect broader patterns found in ancient mythologies. Different cultures sought to explain and celebrate the cycles of nature, fertility, and the human experience itself. To return back to the topic of the supreme god, as Ouranos parallels Anu, they both are succeeded in their kingship by the new gods that come after them. This could signify the ages of time and the inevitable evolution of constant, eternal renewal in nature and progress in society. Eventually, Marduk becomes the chief god of the Babylonian pantheon, and Saturn, a prominent figure in Roman mythology, both represented by the star Saturn in the sky, or planet Saturn. In Roman mythology, they share similarities in their mythologies, particularly in their roles as powerful deities and their associations with kingship. Saturn is the king of Elysium, where all the good souls dwell after death. Both Marduk and Saturn are considered supreme deities in their respective myths. Marduk is the head of the Babylonian pantheon, patron god of the city of Babylon. Saturn, also known as Saturnus in Latin, is one of the major gods of the Roman pantheon and had the biggest temple in Rome, where all the riches and money was located as the central bank of Rome. Marduk is credited with creating the world and establishing the order of the universe. He is depicted as a royal, heroic figure, embodying the qualities of the divine king, while Saturn in Roman mythology is associated with the Golden Age, a mythical period of peace and prosperity, ruled by a virtuous king. He is also believed to have introduced agriculture and civilization to humanity. Both Marduk and Saturn are depicted as these particular powerful deities. Marduk's most famous myth is the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation epic in which he defeats the primordial goddess Tiamat, establishes his supremacy over the gods, while Saturn overthrows his father Uranos, the personification of the heaven, to become the ruler of the cosmos. Both Marduk and Saturn have associations with time and chronology. Marduk is associated with the concept of time in the Enuma Elish as he divides the heavens and establishes the calendar, while Saturn in Roman mythology is the god of time, and he's associated with the concept of time as he's depicted with the scythe, symbolizing the passage of time. The parallels may arise from these shared themes and archetypes, as they're both identified with the same central location in the sky, being the planet Saturn. In Hindu mythology, it is Indra who plays this role. Both Jupiter and Indra are associated with thunder and lightning, just as Baal in Canaanite mythology is associated with thunder and lightning and is the rider on the clouds, just like Jupiter and Indra. And all three of these gods succeed a god that came before them. Jupiter, also known as Jove, is considered the king of the gods in Roman mythology and wields thunderbolts as his weapon. Just as Indra and Baal, all these deities are depicted as wielding thunderbolts, riding on the clouds and having dominion over the forces of nature. Jupiter is revered as the supreme god, leader of the Olympians against the Titans, and brings justice and cosmic order, while Indra in Hinduism is the chief of the Devas against the Asuras, and also for justice and cosmic order. Due to all of this, the most ancient god, Anu, and the oldest mentioned by any surviving text, who influences Uranos, which becomes the Greek word for heaven itself, directly impacts religions today. Thank you for joining us in this captivating journey through the rich tapestry of Mesopotamian and Greek mythology, from the grandeur of the mighty gods like Anu and Zeus, to the intriguing tales of heroes like Enki, Prometheus, and the morning star Ishtar, and many others. We have explored the fascinating intersections and parallels between these ancient pantheons. But our exploration has only just begun. The world of ancient myths is vast and ever unfolding, promising further wonders and revelations. In our next episode, we shall embark on a new adventure, delving even deeper into the enchanting realms of ancient mythologies. Brace yourselves as we unravel more captivating stories, draw more connections, and uncover the hidden threads that bind these ancient civilizations together. So, my friends, be prepared to immerse yourself in the mesmerizing world of myths, where gods and mortals intertwine, where legends are born, where timeless wisdom awaits us. Join us in our next installment as we continue our odyssey through the ancient tapestry of human imagination. Until then, may the ancient gods guide your path, may the mysteries of the past illuminate your present, and may the allure of the ancient world keep you yearning for more. Stay tuned for the next episode where the secrets of the ancients shall be revealed. You have just attained true gnosis.